Good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Mike the Herbivore and I just got out of bed. This isn't some sort of studio trick or show or anything like that. This is pretty much what I look like when I roll out of bed. And yes, I'm a giant comic book nerd, so you know, copyright infringement, all that, whatever. Anyway, I decided I was going to make myself some breakfast this morning, and I figured may as well take you guys along for the ride. Now, I could easily grab a bowl of cereal or some oatmeal or something along those lines, but instead, I've decided I want to make a tofu egg. So this is how I do scrambled eggs in the morning, and it's relatively easy to make. All you need are these few things here, and as you can see, most of them are spices. So grab that list, and I'll meet you guys in the kitchen. I'm gonna finish my coffee too.
Alright everyone, as promised, this is going to be super easy. So we're just going to turn our burner on, and we wanted that to be at a medium-high temperature. That's around somewhere around like a 6, 7, somewhere around there on your numbers. Add our pan so that it starts to get a little bit warm initially. Now that's warming up, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of oil. Now I personally like to use vegetable oil. It has a lower smoke point, so it doesn't, you know, start smoking like olive oil does, but you totally whatever you'd like to use. You can also use coconut oil if you prefer, but I would suggest getting refined coconut oil so it doesn't have that taste to it. So anyway, gonna add that to it and just let that start to get nice and warm. Now here's the fun part. We've got our block of tofu. Now what I did with the tofu this time around is instead of actually draining it, pressing it, and doing all that, I want a little bit of that spongy kind of flavor to it, and I want some of the moisture to stay in it. So I just sort of hand squeezed it. You can see it's still dripping a little bit. Hand squeezed it to get some of the excess moisture off, but that's really all that I needed. So I'm going to take this block of tofu, and because I'm real fancy, I'm just going to crumble it with my hands. And then from here, all we're going to do is take our tofu and get it nice and warm. Doesn't have to be hot, but you want it to heat up before you put the spices in. Otherwise, the spices are going to start to stick to the pan, kind of cause everything to burn a little bit. That's why we use the oil in the first place, but, you know, why make things harder for yourself if you don't have to? All in all, this should take maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes or so. It doesn't take a whole lot of time, especially if your pan is good to heat everything up. You just want the tofu to get warm, because who wants to eat cold eggs? Not I, said the fly. What's that from? Not I, said the fly. Nor me, said the bee. I don't remember. See, this is what happens when I try to make a video right out of bed, because I'm not totally 100% firing all synapses, but whatever. I do this a lot breakfast-wise, and believe it or not, I actually do kind of have these little segue conversations with myself when I'm doing them, but you know, it is what it is. Now we're going to add our spices that are going to make our eggs taste like eggs and not so much like tofu. So, first things first, for the coloring and a little anti-inflammatory properties, we're going to add a half of a teaspoon of turmeric. Just going to spread that around on everything. I like to use a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. Now, if you want to in this dish, you can actually saute some onions before you add the tofu in. I just wanted to show you guys this simple base thing, and you can start adding stuff in later. Now here is the secret weapon for this. This is a 1/4 teaspoon of black salt. Now I could get into my spices a little bit later, but black salt is amazing for mimicking an egg flavor because it has a higher sulfur content. So it's great. And then of course, nooch. We got the nooch, baby. And you're gonna add 2 tablespoons of that. Then you just mix everything together. Get all those delicious spices mixed in to our eggs. Now obviously the spices are my personal preference. If you don't like garlic, don't add the garlic. If you're not a big fan of onion, don't add the onion, but you know, experiment with it a little bit. I'm literally giving you guys the basest of base recipes for this. I have had days where I've wanted something a little spicier. I've added hot sauce. Actually, I add hot sauce to this almost all the time afterward anyway, but that's just, personal preference. You can add salsa, black beans. They said you could saute an onion ahead of time if you want to. You can actually saute garlic if you like garlic. Whatever it is that you want to add to your eggs. I mean, be your own rainbow. Make it as whatever you want to make it, but you don't have to abide by this recipe 100%. I'm just showing you like the blueprint to how to make this. It smells so good. And you can do with it as you please. In fact, if you end up doing some modification and you think it's really bomb, let me know. Like, just drop it in the comments, let me know what's going on. I'm curious to see what you do with this. That's part of the fun of cooking, is being able to make things whatever you want to make it. And there you go. Tofu eggs, super easy.
Honestly, budget-wise, if you already have these spices in your cabinet, all it's going to cost you is the price of a block of tofu, which is somewhere between like $1 and $3, depending on where you buy it and what kind that you're getting. So it's a relatively simple, fast, cheap, easy way to make a nice protein-packed breakfast, which is a good alternative from a lot of those carb-heavy meals that we tend to eat when we're plant-based. And again, this is completely customizable to your taste. I gave you the foundation recipe for you to take, and I want you to modify it however it is that you see fit. Add veggies, add mushrooms, add salsa, add hot sauce, add beans if you want to. Whatever it is that you want to do, the limits are only whatever it is that you have in your mind and probably what you have in your cabinet or your pantry. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Please hit subscribe. I promise that more content is coming on the way. And as always, be good to yourself, be good to others, be kind to the animals, and go eat a plant. Love you all. Bye.